FSU weather. Though Campbell Stadium right now is showing two shades of the sky, one side cloudy and sunny, and the other side is going to be dark and rainy as storms are heading their way toward I-10 corridor. 86 degrees is current temperature right now. That has dropped significantly since maybe about an hour ago, with some gusty winds blowing right now at the airport for sure as the storm moves its way toward the north. And temperatures across the region are in the mid-90s, 95 here, it was 95 here in Tallahassee, 86 now, but a little bit warmer at 85 in Sumatra and 90 by Apalachicola. And across Florida, storms are the main story as sea breeze kicks off with a lot of lightning in this one storm that's moving in from Polk County into Hillsborough, moving toward the beaches. And a little bit closer to home, we see more storms popping up from that sea breeze, moving to the north, feeding off the downflow boundaries into I-10. But today we'll be talking about a lot more today on tropics and all that and more on FSU weather. And welcome back into the Campbell Stadium, the live shot. And here we see the storm's pretty dark clouds right now with some of the showers moving our way. 86 degrees is our current temperature. And across the region, temperatures are in the mid-90s, 95 in Monticello, 90 in Thomasville, and a little bit cooler by the coast, 91 in St. Mark's and 90 in Apalachicola. And today our high temperature got up to 96 today, as around noon, past noon time, around 4 o'clock-ish, and our low was 75 degrees before sunrise. So a little bit below the record, which thank goodness, but we do have a lot more heat on tap for the rest of this week. And we started out the day around 75, 77. But that rose up pretty quickly as the sun rose up and went overhead to about 89 by 12 p.m. and we got to that 95 by 4 and 5 p.m. Radar right now is showing storms moving in from the coast toward the north to the I-10 corridor, feeding off the sea breeze convection, and these storms are producing some lightning as well and outflow boundaries to initiate some more storms from those. And Cross City is also seeing some of that storm action die down right now, but they've got some rain as well and some lightning. And across Florida, storms are in most of the area, heading down all the way down to Miami. Any of these storms could produce some localized heavy rainfall and flooding, as we have plenty of moisture in the atmosphere to work with. Dew points are in the mid to upper 70s in some parts, 76 in Tallahassee, 78 Monticello, and 76 down there in Apalachicola. So plenty of moisture to work with in the atmosphere for these storms. But for tonight, overnight hours, 77 will be in Tallahassee, so mid to upper 70s across most of the region. So not much of a cool down, really. This heat is going to be sticking with us for a little bit, and so temperatures won't get anywhere below the mid 70s. For tomorrow morning, temperatures will rise pretty quickly again to 88 by 11 a.m. No real chance of rain for the morning hours. Again, that will change as we head into the late afternoon into evening hours like today was. For the next 24 hours, the storms tonight will be dying off again as we lose that daytime heating and some cloudy conditions for the overnight possibly. And then tomorrow morning, not much action until tomorrow afternoon and evening, where we do have kind of the same setup. Upper level ridging going to help produce some storms for the area off that sea breeze convection. And with little upper level flow, that any of the storms could kind of meander and stay around for a little bit and to cause some possible flash flood conditions with localized heavy rainfall. But for tomorrow's highs, the temperatures will be right back up into the mid-90s, 96 Tallahassee, 95 in Quincy, 97 up there in Bainbridge. For the next 7 days, kind of rinse, repeat the same thing for Thursday and Friday and possibly Saturday as well. We do have high temperatures, 96 on going to be for tomorrow, 93 by Friday, with pretty good rain chances from our sea breeze convection and kind of typical summertime pattern. Lows are going to be in the mid-70s across most of the week. And we could have a little bit more of a decrease in the temperatures as we head into the next week with 87s by Monday and Tuesday. I'll stick with you for the southeast right now again. Miami, Florida, looking at some nice sunshine, some clouds, 85 degrees, and also some blue skies over there in Atlanta. Tampa as well, seeing some of those storms move in from the east, so it's got some dark clouds, 92 degrees, and Clemson, South Carolina is also seeing some cloudy conditions at 85 degrees for them. Across the area, temperatures are in the mid to low 90s across most places. 93 in Montgomery, 80 down there in Miami, and a little bit warmer as you go toward the west. That heat range is really kind of parked over. So places like Texas are getting pretty high heats. But Shreveport and Little Rock, 98 and 99, so they're pretty close and really feeling the effects of that heat. And coupled with that heat is some moist, muggy conditions across the southeast. 76 in Tallahassee, 73 in Montgomery. So pretty warm conditions. To couple that with the high heat to get these heat indices pretty high up there as well. 103 in Montgomery, 112 up there in Memphis. So with the high heat and the moisture, is going to be kicking in some of those high heat indices for much of the area. And due to those heat indices, a lot of warnings and advisories have been put in place. So we have excessive heat advisories in that orange color across states of like Georgia, all the way west into Dallas, and up even into Wichita, and as well as an excessive heat warning in that pink color for even higher heat indices, past 100 degrees for sure, into places like Memphis and into just a little south of St. Louis. And on the water vapor satellite imagery, we can see a lot of those storms popping off. We had a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings into the Carolinas and Georgia, as some of those could become severe with some possible severe wind gusts. But most of these storms are going to be moving to the west in Florida, as well as a little bit into Louisiana, kind of following the motion of that upper level ridge just a little bit. Not too much steering though, but some of these storms could be severe, as I've mentioned. And most of the rainfall for the next 3 days is going to be centered in the southeast, with totals up to maybe 3 inches in South Georgia, down by the Florida coast, and even to the Carolina coast as well. And so much of the kind of cycle, storms will die off in overnight hours, and then once the daytime heating kicks in, that's bubble of storms will kind of pop up from the heating and all the moisture, die off again in the overnight hours, and once again, by Friday afternoon, late evening, storms will pop up once again to produce some of those heavy rainfalls. But overnight hours, temperatures will be into the mid-70s across most of the area, as well as tomorrow, highs will be even possibly 100 as we go west toward Shreveport. Now, we have a lot going on nationally. We have some severe weather threats. So, Monique, what's going on with this severe weather?
Thank you, Brandon. As Brandon hinted to, we have lots of active weather going on. We have a frontal system really hovering over the northern part of the U.S., and we also have that high pressure system lingering towards the southeast. So we're also seeing those hot, humid conditions for much of the southeast due to that high pressure system. So currently we are at 86 in Tallahassee, 86 as well in New Orleans, and we are quite warm right now in Dallas and San Antonio, sitting at 102 and 100 degrees respectively. Now those heat indices values are even higher. Right now 102 in San Antonio, so that's pretty on par with their current temperature, 101 in Dallas, and you can see it's also very, very warm in Memphis at 112 for their heat index value. So as I hinted at before, we have that system really just hovering over the northern part of the U.S., and that's really, really bringing those storms and possible high winds that we will see over the next couple of days. Now, as I mentioned, we have lots of active weather in this area right here, and Billings all the way down to Denver, they're seeing potential thunderstorm warnings and watches. And they're also seeing lots of low-level clouds and lines of storms just really pushing through the area, and those are really expected to stick with them throughout the next couple of days. Now, we're also seeing more or less the same in this area right here. We have multiple lines of storms and active warnings really taking place for today until tomorrow. Now for today, much of this area right here, we are in a non-severe risk, so we have a possibility of isolated showers and high winds, but right here you can also see that this area is in for a slight risk, so they have a higher possibility of those storms over the next couple of days. So for those active alerts, like Brandon mentioned, we have a lot of active alerts going on throughout the region. So really quickly, because of those high heat index values, we're seeing excessive heat watches and warnings around this area. And because of that low pressure system and that system really hovering over the northern plains, we are also seeing flood watches for this area. Now, as we move down closer to home, you can see those excessive heat warnings are really also going to stretch across this area and really reach us as well. Now for our current dew points, we are very, very dry to the west. You can see right here, these brown colors really hint at those dry conditions that the western part of the U.S. is seeing. And for us here on the East Coast, we are very, very humid and moist. And if we look at our drought monitor, zooming in, these deep red colors right here really show those dry conditions that the West Coast is seeing. And right here, we are much more moist, and that's alluding to these lighter colors right here that we're seeing. Now, as we move into tomorrow, we will possibly increase our risk at a slight risk for the southeast, stretching from Atlanta to Washington, and Billings in Montana, for much of Montana, will also be under a slight risk for tomorrow. Now, that rain will make its way through the region and the nation for the next 72 hours, but you can see right here it's very, very heavy in the southeast, but that rain will not reach our neighbors to the west for the next foreseeable couple of days. Now, for tonight's temperatures will cool down a bit when that sun sets. We will be at 75 in Tallahassee, 81 in Fort Worth, and more or less the same across the nation. Now, for tomorrow, we will warm up quite a bit. We will sit at 96 in Tallahassee, 100 in Memphis, 103 in Fort Worth, and we'll be a little cooler by the west coast at 75 in Seattle. Now we're going to take it closer to home and look at Florida. Currently in Florida, we are sitting in the mid-80s to low 90s, 87 in Key West, 90 right here in Pensacola off by the coast, and 86 in Tallahassee. Now, Miami right now, you're seeing 90 degrees across the board. You can see these rain chances will steadily increase throughout the next couple of days until Saturday. For Tampa, you're seeing more or less the same. Temperatures in the low 90s, 91 on Thursday, reaching 92 on Saturday, with rain chances reaching 50% on Saturday as well. Now, for Orlando, you will sit in the mid-90s as well with higher rain chances, so you have the chance of scattered thunderstorms over the next 3 days. And for Jacksonville, same for you as well. Make sure you have your umbrella because you're going to see a 40% chance of rain and 95 degrees on Saturday. In Pensacola, you will be slightly cooler, 89 across the board for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and you'll see those rain chances increase to 40% on Saturday. Now, as we head into the overnight hours for Florida, we will cool down and be 75 in Tallahassee, 77 in Pensacola, and a little warmer in Miami at 79 degrees. Tomorrow, we will warm up when that sun rises, 96 in Tallahassee, 89 in Pensacola, and a little cooler down by the coast in Key West at 88 degrees. Now, I wanted to give you a quick look into the tropics. Right now, we are not expecting new chances of development over the next 5 days, which is good news, but I also wanted to just give you a quick update because we do have an active hurricane after all, which is Hurricane Bonnie. So right now, Hurricane Bonnie is at sustained winds at 40 miles per hour, and right now on our map, you can see that this track is really moving off of the coast of Central America, so that's not bringing any damaging effects to the coast. However, they will see some heavier rainfall in the next couple of days, and this is what this map is suggesting right here. You see they'll see a nice couple of inches over the next few days. But now I'm going to pass it back over to Brandon to bring it closer to home. What's going on in Tallahassee, Brandon?
Thanks, Monique. Yes, we do have a lot of thunderstorms right now back home here in Tallahassee. Storms will be working their way north toward the I-10 corridor. Here on Doak Campbell Stadium's live shot, we can see that rain coming down toward the south, right about where the airport is located, so that's definitely keeping the temperature down there. But as these storms will develop, they will be moving toward the north, like I said. Any of these can have, substantial amount of lightning, so we make sure you always say when thunder roars, go indoors. But places of I-10 could see some locally heavy rainfall if there's late evening drive on I-10, heading home from work or what have you. But the storms will be dying out into the overnight hours, though. And for tomorrow, kind of the same thing for the area. We've got plenty of moisture to work with that sea breeze convection coupled in. So we'll expect some storms to pop up again tomorrow around late afternoon, early evening, kind of like how today was as well. But into the overnight hours, temperatures will drop down just a little bit, not drastically, into the upper 70s across the area. So it'll be still humid and muggy throughout the area with upper 70s. And tonight here in Tallahassee, 75 degrees. So once the storms die down, it'll be good not to get out on the town for a nice late night walk. But if you like us, you can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com @FSU Weather, as well as on Facebook at facebook.com/FSU Weather. And hopefully you're watching right now on YouTube at FSU Weather. And don't forget to like us on Instagram as well, also at FSU Weather. Now, for one last look at your 7-day forecast, Thursday and Friday for another rainy tap for us with high temperatures about 96, 93. And then as we go into next week, we'll get a slight cool down with temperatures into the upper 80s on Monday and Tuesday as well. Lows will be in the mid to upper 70s. Once again, my meteorologist Brandon Lasberg. Hope you have a great and safe evening.